Hi, everyone. Joining me today is Vicki Worden, President and CEO of the Green Building Initiative. Vicki, welcome to Healthy Air.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Great to be here.
So I want to provide our listeners with a brief background on Vicki to provide context for our conversation. Vicki Worden is the President and CEO of the Green Building Initiative, a nonprofit organization dedicated to making buildings healthy places to live and work while reducing their impacts on the environment. GBI makes aspirational goals achievable through user-friendly tools built upon comprehensive standards and supported by outstanding staff and expert assessors. GBI has third-party certified thousands of buildings across North America. Its Green Globes and Guiding Principles compliance programs support every building situation, from individual buildings with sole owners through some of the largest corporate and government portfolio owners in the world, including the Departments of Defense in both the US and Canada. So amazing stuff. Vicki, to kick off, you've had a really impressive and accomplished career from leading your own firm, Worden Associates, to your current leadership at GBI. Tell us a little bit about your path and what prompted your deep and long-standing commitment to sustainability.
Thanks, Eric. I somewhat wish it wasn't quite so long, but time does fly when you're having fun, and I do really enjoy what I do. But I guess I was one of those young people who had a lot of enthusiasm for learning and a sense of adventure, but not necessarily a whole idea of where I wanted to land. And I had the opportunity to live in China for a couple of months right after high school graduation, and that was a great opportunity. It was my first opportunity to experience being a minority. And it also gave me this incredible impression of resilience and population growth and resource scarcity and being there before the really big building boom that we know China has had, and the growth of the middle class and the unfortunate development of their smog and air quality issues. I just had an incredible takeaway from that in wanting to come back and study international relations. And so I did end up coming back to the US and focused on IR and economics, and that gave me a really good grounding in the policy and the business side of why sustainability is a really important issue in light of the population growth predictions. So it's been a great road. I'd add to that in my early career in Washington, D.C., I spent a lot of time working with the forestry industry, and they have such an incredible way of applying stewardship to everything that they do. And so when you talk about sustainable harvesting, it's all about stewardship, leaving the forests and the earth in a better place than we found it. And how they applied that to their organizations was really impactful on me. And so, fast forward 30 years, and I have this great opportunity to be a steward advancing sustainability for an ENGO, an environmental non-governmental organization. And I'm just really happy. Feels like I'm in the right place at the right time.
Amazing. So it'd be great if you could give us a high-level overview of GBI. So the mission, your priorities, your scope and reach, and the way the organization is set up.
Sure. GBI's mission is really straightforward. We're focused on improving the built environment and reducing climate impacts. And we have, our history is that we got started in 2004, and we were focused on bringing green building to the mainstream building owners. And the early part of the green building movement really focused on what was considered to be leadership buildings. So those with potentially the largest budgets and opportunity to really showcase some incredible advancements and attention to sustainability. And those who founded GBI knew that we needed to figure out a way to bring that same focus down to everyday buildings. And so GBI was structured to provide user-friendly tools. And we discovered Green Globes and in Canada, and brought that down to the United States as one of the ways that we work to accomplish our mission by promoting Green Globes. And we also recognized that we needed to be transparent. And so GBI is structured in such a way to really emphasize openness. All of our technical manuals are available for free. We just really try to involve all those that are interested in having a say and helping to define and advance green building and giving them that opportunity to do so.
Hmm. So let's dive into your Green Globe certification, one of your signature programs. So first, a basic question: why certify?
Great question. And you know, there have been so many answers to that over the years or the decades that we've been advancing green building. First of all, the primary focus has always been return on investment in energy and water. So energy and water have been primary drivers since the early days in trying to reduce utility consumption, reduce demand on resources. Indoor environment has been a very big focus as well in terms of source control. But overall, I think what's changed in the last few years is that we have so much better data on how green buildings are performing on all measures, from tenant satisfaction and tenant retainment to occupant health, to those hard numbers on investor value, and head and shoulders green buildings perform better. And the drivers that started out really focused on energy are now shifting to long-term performance. So there are a number of factors that are providing recognition for socially responsible owners that do pursue green building certification. So it's been all around a great thing to see happen in the market.
How does Green Globes differ from other building certification programs?
Well, there are a number of things. Green Globes has 1,000 points, and what we do is we weight those points so that they point our users or our teams to those items that have the greatest possibility for reducing climate impacts, such as energy, and or improving a community. And so we are incredibly adaptable with the way that we leverage those points. We have multiple pathways. We have non-applicables. We also, as I mentioned, provide all of our training, support, and resources for free. And so you can go onto a GBI website at any time and access our user resources, our tech manuals, and download them. And I would also say that probably the number one thing that differentiates Green Globes is known for its collaboration. And in fact, our motto is building better buildings together. And our process has been proven over and over again to streamline the certification process in such a way that it really removes cost and time hassles that may be more traditionally associated with green building certification. And we pair an expert assessor with a team so that they are getting, first of all, a renowned coach. The majority of our third-party assessors are architects and engineers that have between 10 to 25 years of experience applying sustainability to all different building types. And that assessor is available to them throughout the process. So they're interacting every day. And if they're aware of technology that can come to bear and help improve their building or move them closer to achieving their goals, the assessor lets them know. We have multiple stages of review, and we have a user-friendly platform, a GBI software platform that actually allows for a lot of check-ins along the way. So both the user, the collaborator, the building owner, everybody can log into this system. And it's very transparent in terms of how the building and the team are progressing through the assessment process. It's transparent about where the assessor is in their evaluation. There's communication back and forth, both directly and through the software platform. And then in the end, there's a great report. So we focus on not only documenting the achievements and the certification level, but also on providing ideas on what they can implement to improve the building during their next round of capital improvements.
Mm-hmm. How much does it cost to certify a building?
We actually are really cost effective on that front. It's anywhere between, say, $6,000, and for a really large building, it might be as high as $30,000. But the majority of buildings that we've certified, it is in the $13,000 to $14,000 range. And we have about 400,000 square feet of certified space under the GBI umbrella today in both US and Canada and beyond.
Great. It'd be great if you could walk us through your scoring system. So what areas are you scoring, and then how do you break down the different rating levels?
Sure. So traditionally, we have continued to score energy the highest. And depending on the rating system, we have 3 rating systems: new construction, existing buildings, and sustainable interiors. And depending on that system, energy is always going to be the highest, followed by either water or indoor environment. And then following that would be site, materials, management, and resources, unless I'm forgetting one. And we break down 1,000 points across 6 assessment areas. And we also have different pathways that you can follow. So the system is extremely flexible for multiple building types. We have certified everything from a 7-Eleven to a mega resort. We certified the majority of the Las Vegas Strip, as a matter of fact. And everything from an airport expansion to, a low-rise workforce housing property complex. So the system is designed to provide a lot of opportunity to choose the criteria that apply best to your building type and to your particular region, and they're weighted to point teams toward those things that, again, are most impactful.
So by the time this podcast is released, you will have launched your Green Globes for Existing Buildings, a 3-in-1 benchmarking and certification focused on environmental sustainability, health and wellness, resilience. You and your team have just completed a really rigorous technical review in preparation for this launch. Can you give us a sense of what we're likely to see, or what we will be seeing in the Green Globes for Existing Buildings?
Yeah, sure. And we're really excited about Green Globes EB 2021 launching. Our existing buildings rating system has been operational and has been incredibly supportive of the built environment for a number of years, but in undergoing a really large technical update. We actually started about 3 or 4 years ago and contracted with a sustainability group out of Europe who did a materiality analysis for us, and that pointed us toward the things that we most needed to update. And things that came out of that were, for instance, we were lacking criteria at that time on on social equity. And so our new system actually has an entire section focused on environmental social governance, and that includes resilience and social equity issues. We also conducted several different technical reviews, including having the system piloted by some experts in commercial real estate industry and sustainability oriented folks. And that review helped us to refine different aspects of how we focused on energy audits, what we encourage people to do in terms of water testing and water evaluation. And overall, I would just say the system is really leading edge. The last thing that we did before finalizing it was we benchmarked it against all of the leading rating systems that are out there, green building, health and wellness, and so Green Globes really is a comprehensive platform that contains the majority of the best practices that need to be applied to existing buildings today. So I hope folks will be really excited when they attend the webinar and get to download the free technical manual and see the content that they now can start applying to their portfolios.
So the pandemic has really put the spotlight on health and wellness in buildings. How have you reconciled sustainability and health and wellness in your standards? Since in some cases they're in strong alignment, in other cases there's clearly some tensions and trade-offs.
Yeah, that's a great question. And first of all, I'd say that when the pandemic hit, we all had to take a breath and say, okay, who are we and what is our responsibility for supporting a response to this? And GBI, one of our extreme strengths is bringing together experts and delivering important information on best practices. And so we did a review of Green Globes with a task group of subject matter experts. And fortunately, because of the way that it's designed, we did not find that we needed to change any technical criteria. So we didn't need to rush out into the market and make a lot of changes to what we were recommending. We were already referencing and encouraging the use of the highest ventilation standards, the highest filtration, dependent on the ability of the mechanical system. We were already are recognizing the potential threat to buildings with their water systems. And so what we ended up doing is really just bringing the lessons learned from the pandemic and from the building standstill forward by updating our assessment guidance and updating our tooltips, which are the part of Green Globes that we use to help keep the system really nimble. And so we're able to respond quickly to things like this unfortunate situation with a global disease, and make sure that we're pointing people towards the information that they most need at the time that they're making those decisions. But in terms of trade-offs, I think you're getting more at the energy versus ventilation trade-off, which is really important consideration. And Green Globes has always done a great job of recognizing that there's always trade-offs in making decisions on sustainability. And so with our approach, you're able to continue to pursue your energy goals and balance that with the ventilation requirements and reflect that and any decisions that you're making with your communications to the assessor. So we have flexible minimum requirements. And so we're not holding people to requirements that no longer make sense based on what we've learned from the pandemic. We're actually pointing them towards the things that are going to work for them, giving them the flexibility to emphasize ventilation over reducing energy consumption, and giving them the opportunity to communicate to an assessor why they may or may not have pursued a particular criteria based on what they needed their response to be to keep their occupants most healthy.
Great answer, thanks. So in the past, you've mentioned challenges related to cost, time, hassle for achieving increased market share for Green Globe certification, and the importance to demonstrate ROI to owners in addition to demonstrating sustainability impact. So in 2021, are these still challenges, and does incorporating health and wellness into your certification make these challenges easier or more difficult?
Oh, that's a really great question. So I think we've come a long way. Green Globes usage has grown significantly over the last 5 years. And I think that the fact that Green Globe's reputation is cost-effective, high value, low hassle, does a lot toward just building confidence in the ongoing validity of third-party certification for green building. But other things have happened as well to create market drivers. So we have the incredible amount of focus on environmental social governance reporting. And we have investors now fully focused on evaluating socially responsible owners' practices, reading annual reports, finding out what they're doing to invest in not only the actual real estate, so the hardware, so to speak, but the people within it, the occupants and the tenants, and making sure that the whole entire system is really working to reinforce human health, both physical and mental. And so Green Globes works really well for that. We have a very streamlined process, and we've been able to demonstrate time and again by keeping focused on the clients and meeting them where they are, building owners where they are with their particular needs and their goals, that we have been able to sort of eliminate the objections about the time cost hassle interfering with the very proven ROI that you get from having a green building.
So what's the future direction of GBI, especially amidst an increasing number of certification verification programs in the marketplace?
Great. We are really excited about our growth plans. We are going to be, hopefully in the next 3 years, operating beyond the US and Canada. So we adopted a 3-year plan that will have us delivering Green Globes and our tools in 4 different languages. And we should be operational in Mexico and Central and South America and Europe within the next 12 to 18 months. And generally speaking, I would say, you know, the question about the multitude of certification options, GBI is unique in that we really welcome everyone into the market. There are so many buildings and so many portfolio owners that need help, assistance, and support. We've always been open. And when it comes to the United States, while we're expanding, we're still going to retain a strong focus on the United States. There are a lot of cities and counties that are evaluating their sustainability policies, that are adopting performance reporting and benchmarking, and they need solutions. And there's a lot of opportunity to help them make their policies more open and inclusive of not only Green Globes, but the other systems that are coming onto the market, because we don't want to limit the opportunities that our building owners and developers have by retaining a narrow view of how policy should be written and how it might reference green building rating systems or whatever systems are out there. So while we expand, we're going to continue a strong focus on the United States and working with cities and counties to advance and improve their sustainability policies. And openness is a huge pillar for us in terms of our guiding principles.
So within your community, what's top of mind amongst members and partners? What are they talking about? What are they concerned about? Where's the discussion today?
I would say environmental social governance it's like the beginning of this year in particular. Everything just came together that has been, you know, in process, I guess, over the last 4 to 5 years to really put the acronym ESG on everyone's radar. Investors have made that happen in terms of turning their attention to climate risk and to evaluating the costs from not addressing sustainability issues within the built environment to not addressing health and safety issues within the built environment. There is absolutely no question that investors and the financial drivers of our system are all focused in one direction today. And GBI is responding to that by adding to the services that we provide. So we are right now partnering with some of our portfolio owners on the development of ESG strategies. So if they're, depending on where they are in the whole thought process, if they need a top to bottom approach, we're able to partner with them and experts in ESG and annual reporting to develop a cohesive strategy that they can apply across their portfolio. We're also partnering with them at the bottom up level, so planning for performance improvement in their portfolios from year to year, which of course it does include green building certification. And I think, you know, one of the interesting things about what has happened is that there is a strong focus on being much more transparent. And so in terms of annual reporting, we need to be focused on being able to tell a story about not just saying that we're working toward an environmental sustainability net zero goal, but being able to show the steps that we're taking toward that. And so GBI's role becomes as much coach, consultant, and third-party objective supporter of that need for annual reporting while we're helping folks to achieve their green building certification goals, you know, as one of the tools that they have when they are working toward their portfolio objectives.
So, and this is kind of riffing off of that last question, but sustainability or otherwise, what changes do you foresee in the built environment over the next 5 to 10 years? It seems like you're seeing more kind of pressure and momentum from the investment and financial community to make ESG real in buildings, but you know, that and then other things that you're seeing come down the pike over the next 10 years. What do you think? What's your prognostication on that?
So many things. I feel like smart building technology, you can't avoid citing that as one of the big things that we're going to be seeing. We're seeing portfolios really look at incorporating smart building technology at scale so that they can roll out something that they've piloted and tested in one building across an entire portfolio that is going to help them to achieve significant control over energy, water, waste issues, as well as the indoor environmental possibilities of being able to implement new technologies that are coming to market to help us improve comfort and wellness and productivity. And, you know, Safe Traces is a great example of technology that has emerged today, and we're able to recognize and promote that kind of best practice in a generic way through our tooltips. And so I feel like we just, as rating system developers, as a green building and an ENGO organization, we've got to really stay well informed. And we've got to be talking to a lot of people so that we don't miss opportunities to point our users toward those new technologies that are going to potentially, for much less cost than we might imagine, be able to solve the problems that they're struggling with today. I think we could see exponential change there.
So on the topic of technology, what technologies do you get most excited about? And, you know, ones that can really move the needle on GBI's mission, ones that you think are going to make a real impact at scale, as you mentioned.
Well, I think that it's tough to point to one or two technologies, but as a whole, I think when we walk into buildings in the future, we're going to be experiencing sensors everywhere, right? We're going to have touchless technology that's going to help us to progress through buildings. We're going to have technology that is monitoring humidity and air quality and particulates and all of those things that exist today, but may not exist again at scale. And so I feel like the cost benefit of those technologies is being proven out by the lessons learned from this pandemic, that if we can apply those types of technologies to scale, that will give building owners and facility managers the opportunity to monitor on the spot from room to room how their air is flowing, what's the quality of the air, how are things circulating around, and how they move people, how that impacts airflow. I mean, all of that potentially brought to scale for a very cost-effective solution. That I think is probably the most exciting thing, is that we're going to see so much advancement in those types of technologies now, that it's going to critically improve our outdoor and indoor air.
So as a leader of a major building organization or building certification organization, interested to know how you stay on top of the pulse and the bleeding edge of the market. So how are you consuming information? What are you reading? Who are you speaking with? And what are your go-tos? Like where are you able to reliably and consistently get good information that keeps you on top of what's going on out in the world?
That's probably the hardest part of the job for everybody that's leading an organization right now. LinkedIn, I rely on so much, and probably to the point that I drive my team members a little bit crazy at 9 to midnight or 2 a.m. Snapping pictures of articles that I want them to check out the next day. But I really find that LinkedIn is a great way to ensure that you're getting diverse and inclusive information in terms of being able to follow all types of different subjects. And under the spectrum of the built environment, there are so many that we need to pay attention to. Also following the leaders in the real estate community, the leaders in the investment community, the leaders in standards development. I do just a lot of disparate reading. Didn't we all attend free webinars all through 2020 as well? So I learned a lot, as did my team from that. But I think one of the really interesting things that I learned when I asked the same question, we were on a call the other day with an asset manager who is implementing some really cutting edge technology and learning from it, and putting that technology into his budget or his budget recommendations for those that approve the budget. And I asked him, I said, how are you learning about these things? Where are you learning about hydroponics and how to apply it in a multifamily development and all of these cool technologies that he was piloting? And he said, Instagram. Instagram was where he was getting his info. And he said, all those really smart marketing automation people have figured me out, and they're directing all of this information to me via Instagram, and I'm clicking on it, and that's how I'm learning things. And so I think it's really important for all of us as leaders of organizations to know where our clients and our target audiences are getting their information, and make sure that we're watching the same things that they are, so we can help continue to inform them.
So you've been very vocal about being a woman executive or a female executive in a very important but also male-dominated world of real estate and the built environment. It'd be great to just hear your thoughts regarding your experiences, and then how we get to less male domination and more. You mentioned earlier equity and so forth. From a gender perspective, do you see the industry moving to that, and how are you promoting that yourself?
Yeah, another great question. First of all, I'll say that I've been incredibly fortunate to be really well supported by the primarily male-dominated leaders that preceded me and that have been in elected leadership where I have been a chief staff executive. So that's been a great experience. But as most women leaders in my age group, when I first entered the market, I had the experience of being a young female executive who got married. And at that time, most of the men I was working with in a male-dominated industry said, "Goodbye, it's nice knowing you, have fun in your married life." And I was like, "No, I'm coming back, like I'm really focused on my career." And then the same thing happened as I had children. And it was sort of like, "Oh, great, great knowing you and good luck." And I was like, "No, I'm really coming back." So I find that one of the big challenges, I think, is not only changing the mindset of those who are in the position to hire women, that they're getting the potential for less as women progress through these different stages of their life, that they're going to lose something to the point where they recognize what they gain by having women. And I think there's been a tremendous amount of great research done to support what women bring to the built environment, but to the working world in general, in terms of value and how much better organizations perform when there's balance and women involved. I would say that I spend a lot of time coaching, and so we're fortunate in that 75% of our director and above level positions at GBI are filled by women. And I do spend time coaching them as they go through those same stages of their career and work-life balance that I did, that don't count yourself out. When you are planning those things for your life, don't turn down promotions. Don't anticipate that you might not be able to perform as well, because our capacity just keeps increasing over time as each new challenge comes our way. So I think that's one thing that we as women need to ourselves out, and we also need to reinforce to the men that continue to be in leadership positions the value of that diversity and point of view, and also not to feel like they're potentially opening themselves up to less performance if they hire women at different stages. So that's one observation, and I probably have a lot more, but we'll let it rest at that.
Well, this has been fantastic. So I guess before we part here, we wanted to give you the floor for any parting thoughts regarding anything, really.
Great. Well, I would say, just to come back to air quality for a minute, I would say that I think we're so incredibly fortunate to have so much great brain power right now focused on air quality issues. So I was one of those people that walked out of the vaccination center just really marveling at how quickly we turned, despite all the political noise. I mean, we came up with a science-based response to this disease. We're doing our darndest to roll it out. And similarly, all of the lessons learned that came from the pandemic, and the silver lining in it is that we're hyper-focused right now on air quality issues. And that hyper-focus, with the amount of great brains and minds like your company as well, involved to solve the technology issues and the science-based issues that we have with people interacting with each other, it just feels like we're turning on a dime again. And so I'm really encouraged by the technology that I've seen coming out and the way that we've been able to respond, and just really enthusiastic about what we're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, heartfelt thanks and gratitude for joining us today. It was great to hear your perspective. Congratulations on all that you're doing and continue to accomplish at GBI. And we wish you the best. We look forward to working with you.
Thanks so much, Eric. Great to be here with you.